بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. Okay, this is an update on the previous video where I talked about the King Jinn in the Sihr network and how to treat that. In general, people have found that beneficial, alhamdulillah. And people have not got any sihr from that original sahir who did it on them. For example, that brother I spoke about who I did that first diagnosis on, he hasn't got any, and that brother who we actually saw the King Jinn, and the King Jinn died through my ruqyah, alhamdulillah, and through the brother's ruqyah. That brother hasn't had any sihr from that sahira again, alhamdulillah, and she's actually bedridden and she's in a pretty bad state, as he told me. But there have been some cases where the sihr, the King Jinn, actually gets renewed and the whole sihr network gets renewed. So we've been dealing with that, and so this update is just really to cover those cases where they've had this problem where they've actually killed the King Jinn, but they find there's actually a new King Jinn that they're connected to. Okay, so if you find that you are connected to a new King Jinn, so that you find that you are connected to a new current King Jinn, then you have to check if that King Jinn that you are connected to, the new King Jinn, you have to see if there's something beyond that King Jinn. So you notice that you're connected to a King Jinn. You have to check what's beyond that. So in order to do that, you have to do a diagnosis. You have to use Surah Falaq, come to ayah number 4, and ask Allah to show you if the sihr in your body is connected to something which is beyond your King Jinn which you are attached to. You see, your sihr is attached to. And what you have to probably do, you have to change the definition of the King Jinn. Now, the current King Jinn the new current King Jinn that you'll be connected to, that would be something obviously that the sahir is worshipping. But if you are connected to other King Jinnis beyond that, then the sahir is not going to be worshipping those King Jinnis. You see, there will be other King Jinnis. So what you could do, you could actually do another diagnosis where you ask Allah to show you if the sihr in your body is connected to another King Jinni that is not worshipped by the sahir and is beyond your current King Jinni, the one which the sahir is attached, the one inside the sahir, or the one the sahir sent you. You see, that would hopefully get you to get a reaction, and maybe that will show you that you're connected to other King Jinns. You see, by just removing that definition of within the King Jinni, the definition of the King Jinni that the sahir worships, because those other King Jinnis which are beyond the sahir which you're dealing with, obviously the sahir is not worshipping those, and those you'll find those ones are usually in other sahirs. You see, they're in other sahirs. So what you have to do there, when you're doing your treatment, you have to ask Allah to destroy the King Jinni which you're attached to, the current King Jinni that you're attached to, and also ask Allah to destroy all the other King Jinns that you are attached to beyond this current immediate King Jinni that you're attached to, your sihr is attached to, and ask Allah to destroy all of it, and all of those King Jinn and all of their subordinates, all of their armies which they are connected to. And you basically make the intention quite broad. Don't limit it. Don't have any numbers in your head. Whatever your sihr is connected to, because that's part of your disease. You see, so you might find, as we found in some cases, that we have a network where the patient is actually connected to the main King Jinni in the sahir, and then beyond that he finds that he's connected to 7 other sahirs, and each of those 7 sahirs are connected to 7 other sahirs, and it might just go on for some time. You see, so we've come across where the network ends up being 7 sahirs and then another 7 sahirs on each one of those sahirs, 7 sahirs. So you end up having 49 King Jinns beyond the King Jinn which is immediately affecting you. You see, and why they do that is so that they can replace, when you kill that King Jinni, another one will just come along and take its place, and that's how the sihr just renews like that. You see, And we found this to be it won't be in every sahir. Your average sahir is not going to be doing these kind of networks. But if you've got someone who's one of these sort of elite sahirs, then they will have a system like this. And you can sort of see it in layers. And some of this will go on for some time. Be a massive network. So you have to make that intention quite broad. And you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to destroy this current King Jinni that you're attached to, and then any other King Jinni which is beyond that. You must do the diagnosis though. You mustn't be, just assuming that you are connected to other King Jinnis beyond that. Don't do that, because we found that when you do the diagnosis, then in your heart, when you're making that dua, you know for sure that you are connected to other things. You make the ruqyah becomes much stronger like that. And that's the reason why I said in the one of the videos, a previous video regarding the Master Jinni, why that Master Jinni treatment wasn't working for some patients is because they weren't even doing or the Sihr Network treatment wasn't working for patients. They weren't even doing the diagnosis really to see if they're connected to any Master Jinni or whatever. You see, it makes a big difference when you actually see and do the diagnosis. So you must do a diagnosis to see if your King Jinn is connected to other King Jinnis, meaning your Sihr in yourself is connected to a King Jinni, and then that King Jinni is attached to other King Jinns, and it might just go on. And you don't have to know the exact number. Just make a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make the ruqyah, make the intention that you're asking Allah to kill all of those King Jinns that you're attached to after you've done that diagnosis. But you must do that diagnosis. Don't just jump the gun and assume, okay, I'm connected to a King Jinni, I must be connected to other King Jinn as well. You might not be. Your case might just be what we call a type 1, where you just got the King Jinn, like when I did that first diagnosis on that brother in the previous video, he only had that King Jinn and there was nothing beyond it. So when that died, the whole thing just collapsed, you see. So and the whole thing was end up being useless, is inactive basically, the whole Sihr network, when that big King Jinni died. So you do the diagnosis and remove from that intention, when you do that diagnosis, asking Allah, is there any King Jinns that are beyond the current King Jinni that I'm connected to, that the Sahir doesn't worship? You get a positive result for that, and you use the ayah, وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. You get a reaction for that, then you know that your Sihr is connected to other King Jinns. Then you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to destroy them all, and all of their subordinates as well, everything underneath in the hierarchy, in those Sihr networks which are beyond the current Sahir you're dealing with, you see. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say about this topic. And if anybody's having any problems with regards to doing a diagnosis and actually finding out if they've got that or haven't got that, and having problems with that, or have any other problems with the issues or any other problems, then they can book an appointment, inshallah ta'ala, on my website. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.